This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
Oil prices tumbled by more than $4 a barrel on Monday after Israel's retaliatory strike against Iran at the weekend bypassed oil and nuclear facilities and did not disrupt energy supplies. Both Brent and U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures hit their lowest since October 1st at the open. By 11:30 GMT, Brent was down $4.28, or 5.6%. At $71.77 a barrel, while WTI lost $4.25, or 5.9%, to $67.53. The benchmarks gained 4% last week in volatile trade as markets priced in uncertainty over the looming U.S. election and the extent of Israel's expected response to the Iranian missile attack on October 1st.
Asia's front-month regrade spread, the difference between jet fuel and gas oil swaps, jumped to a 6-year high. Pricing data from LSEG showed on Monday, with traders attributing the move to strength in prompt market fundamentals for jet fuel. The spread has been widening for the past 4 trading sessions to hit $2.50 a barrel, its widest since November 26, 2018, when levels were around $2.55 a barrel, the data showed. Jet fuel markets have been rallying since a week earlier, as increased buying interest, with regional buyers seeking to cover their immediate November requirements, spurred higher cash premiums in the market, 2 Singapore-based trade sources said.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Liquefied natural gas shipping rates have hit multi-year lows and may extend losses going into 2025, analysts and shipping sources said, with new tankers being added at a faster rate than LNG production is rising and spot demand still tepid. New LNG tankers, built in anticipation of rising U.S. exports after a plunge in Russian gas supplies to Europe in 2022, are coming online earlier than liquefaction projects, which have been delayed amid inflation from strong wage growth and a shortage of skilled labor and equipment. With more ships expected to come, freight rates for LNG tankers may remain depressed until late 2025 when new production starts up, said Samuel Good, head of LNG pricing at commodity pricing agency Argus.
The task of decarbonizing the global economy can be split into 3 parts. Electrify as many activities as possible. Use low-carbon processes when that's not possible. And make electricity in ways that do not spew out greenhouse gases. The good news is that this is happening. The bad news is that it is not happening nearly fast enough to stop global warming. Recent reports from the International Energy Agency and from Goldman Sachs make clear the scale of the shortfall. While solar power and supplies of batteries have grown massively, the same cannot be said for expanding electricity grids, or developing long-duration storage, green hydrogen, and carbon removal technologies. As a result, the demand for oil, gas and coal has not yet peaked. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. China's gold consumption in the first 3 quarters of 2024 slid 11.18% from the same period a year ago to 741.732 metric tons as high prices dented buying interest for jewelry products, the state-backed Gold Association said on Monday. Gold jewelry buying, which accounts for 53.9% of total consumption, slipped during January to September to 400.038 tons, down 27.53% from the prior year period, data from the China Gold Association showed. Gold prices have been on the rise over the first 3 quarters, affecting jewelry buying, although the rapid development of new e-commerce models such as live streaming and instant retail has driven the growth of small-gram gold jewelry consumption, the association said.
Copper prices retreated on Monday as Chinese data suggesting poor demand prospects added to disappointment with economic stimulus measures from the top consumer, weighing on sentiment. Benchmark copper on the London Metal Exchange traded 0.6% down at $9,541.05 a metric ton in official rings. It has mostly traded in a narrow $400 range over the past couple of weeks. China's industrial profits plunged in September, registering the steepest monthly decline of the year, owing to factors including weak demand and a sharp decline in producer prices.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
Russian wheat export prices have stopped rising as weather conditions both globally and in Russia's main grain-producing regions improve, and as demand falls. Russia's October exports are, however, still expected to reach a record high. The price of 12.5% protein Russian wheat, scheduled free on board for delivery in November, was $232 per metric ton at the end of last week, a drop of $2, according to Dmitry Rilko, head of the IKAR consultancy, who told Reuters that the demand for wheat fell somewhat.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.